What's up, everybody?
What up? What up?
No, hello.
Trying to be different. Different today.
All right, so we're gonna just get on right into this. It's Mel and me.
We are back up in the house.
So we're gonna do a recap episode. I don't know what number it is. It might be 33, 34, something like that. Of course,
I
we
think
have
35.
I don't know. As far as official podcast episodes, right?
Yeah.
Because I did some vlogs last week, of course, after returning from my recent trip to Johannesburg, where I spent about a week, which was cool. So we just gonna kind of just recap that whole thing. But I guess the first order of business is to acknowledge that we are like really knocking on reaching our 1,000 subscriber mark, right?
We are almost
It's
there.
been almost there. So we have to think about 13 people from what I last saw.
13
We're about
subscribers.
987. So with that, we'll just invite you to, if you have not already, we probably got people that's been watching us here and there over the past couple of years that never subscribe, right? So we just humbly ask that you subscribe to our channel, like, share a video, get somebody else to subscribe to get us to that 1,000.
That would be a milestone.
Yeah, and that's why I'm mentioning it, right? Because I got notified last week that our channel has been in existence for like 2 years.
Which
I'm
is
thinking,
unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, I know I realized we probably could launch a channel and that deals in messiness and drama, right? And we'd have them 1,000 subscribers in a week.
Oh yeah, we would have
get
that
out there on
immediately.
some gossip stuff, right?
Right.
But we just kept it simple and just be ourselves and just stick to what it is we want to talk about.
Right, something
our
that
experiences.
people can learn from and maybe get something out of.
Some entertainment.
Yeah.
But just not the drama and messiness, the senseless drama and messiness. So we're almost there.
Yeah.
So hey, almost, and I think what we will do is once we reach that 1,000, which we may be in the coming days,
we will do another video.
We'll come out and do an episode celebrating that milestone.
Yes.
Do a real quick video.
Right.
So the recap of my trip over there. I went this time. It was a solo trip. You did not go.
Yes,
So
I stayed behind.
So why no Mel? Why no Mel on this trip? Well, a few reasons. Number one, I guess I'll just keep it real.
Money.
It's expensive.
Very.
So we don't always, because we've been doing this now for a few years, and we're back and forth over there. Sometimes we just have to take one for the team and say, it doesn't make sense for us, all or multiple ones of us to go over there when we have to spend that money for each of us to go over there and the expenses, because just the airfare alone round trip is just ridiculous certain times a year. So sometimes we can get stuff done without having us all go over there, and we can save the money, and it can help us in our overall long-term goals, right? So, and I just needed to go over there and just check on the spot, make sure everything is cool.
Exactly.
And just didn't require all of us, right?
Right.
So that was one thing. The other thing is that our son is in summer session for summer school, so he is approaching he'll be starting his third year university studies here in the coming weeks. Right. So he will not have had much of a vacation, which I guess for him
3 weeks,
it probably doesn't really matter too much, just based upon kind of who he is and how he ticks and stuff. But so he had to attend summer school, to kind of catch up and stuff and get back on track, because he's has in a difficult major area of study, and so sometimes it gets to be a little bit of challenge for him. So we have to kind of make adjustments and that sort of thing, and just make sure he stays on track. So attending summer session turned out to be great.
It did.
Because he ended up getting all grades. All grades.
All A's.
All A's. He ended up getting all A's for the summer, which is great, because he really needed that, and I think that'll help him with his confidence and everything, and just kind of getting back in there and finishing up this last stretch. So he's over, halfway there now. So
I know time is definitely flying.
Yeah, I was telling him that. I was telling him that he was really surprised himself when he really looked back over when he first entered college and how this time is just flying. So, that was the other thing. You know, two of the primary reasons. Right. So yeah, just to check on the spot. So I went over there. It's always good to, be back in our in our place there to chill and everything. It's a little bit colder this time, as you probably saw.
I was happy not to experience that.
Yeah, because so this was the first time that we've gone during the winter. Yeah, like in the winter months. So we had never been there during the winter months. We've always gone during what would be, I guess, early spring and summertime. So that was different. I bought some heaters when we were off season last year. When me and T were there, we went and got some heaters and stuff, and they, we didn't need them at the time, but I knew we'd need them, when it get cooler. So that was different because of the fact that there is no such thing as central air over there like we have here. Right. Like I tapped the walls over there, which showed that they were cinder block and concrete, which here in the U.S. we have hollow walls. That's something that's called a gypsum board or drywall, in which we build out of wood frame over here for the most part, unless you're talking about commercial buildings, which they have more metal frames. Pretty much all brick. Even when it's brick, even we have brick. Outside our homes are brick, but even still they frame the homes with wood. Right. And then those wood frames they take and nail this drywall, this gypsum board, which is like a thick chalky substance, about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch thick. They install throughout the house, and inside you have all your wiring for your electricity, your piping, and everything that runs inside those walls. And then also within this particular structure, you have ventilation ducts, where you have a unit that sits outside, and you have another unit that's installed in another part of your house that takes in air, heats it, cools it, and all of that, and it distributes it throughout your entire house. So each space is temperature controlled. So you can control the temperature in each space. Whereas over there they have the units that you can mount onto the ceiling of the walls and stuff, right? Which we unfortunately cannot have in our places there. Right. So we just have to deal with the ambient temperature. Heaters. And then control heaters and fans. With fans and heaters. So that was different. So I was bundled up. In my bathrobe and stuff, which was cool because it gave me a chance to buy myself a nice comfy bathrobe to have over there, and I don't have to, when I'm here I have my robe here, which I don't really wear too much. Right. But over there, definitely during the cooler months, if you want to be cozy, you have to have that. What else? Another reason that I wanted to go over was to get my man Muzi his jersey. Shouts out to Muzi. Hey, Muzi. I know you're out there. He asked about you, by the way. Muzi always asks about the family. Muzi is our guy, man. Muzi, we've actually shouted out Muzi like probably a few times since we've been doing this podcast. Muzi's good people. Good people. And so Muzi is like the first person that we actually met, so to speak, and engaged in like really good conversation. When we first went. So Muzi works at the restaurant on the estate where we live, and so we get a chance to see him every time that we're there. He takes great care of us all the time, and man, Muzi, and that tea that you hooked me up with, that ginger mint lemon tea that I had the last time we were there. I needed it this last time because after being on the plane all that time, I was kind of congested and I was tired. And so, man, Muzi hooked it up. He was like, I'll make sure I give you a nice amount of ginger this time. And it really hit the spot. Oh, okay. So Muzi, when we first went to the restaurant, the first time we visited the restaurant on the site, he was our server. It was, I think it was in the evening. It was in the evening that we went and had dinner there. And Muzi was just such a warm brother, man, real kind and cordial, came over to us and served us. And we just got into a conversation. And in the process of that, he made a mention somehow, and I don't know what prompted it, but he brought up this thing of his being a Kansas City Chiefs fan and a Patrick Mahomes fan. For those of you who don't know, Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback for the U.S. professional football team, National Football League football team, which is like a combination of rugby and soccer that you guys are familiar with over there, right? But so Muzi, he mentioned that he was a big Patrick Mahomes fan. So we started talking about that whole thing. Now, of course, I am not necessarily a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but Mel watches a lot of Kansas City Chiefs. And I tell her all the time during the football season, Well, they're always playing on the they're always broadcasting their games.
Yeah.
Once they start winning the Super Bowls, they get a lot of preference.
They do.
For their games being
every
broadcast.
Week.
So it seems like every week the Chiefs game was on. They were playing somebody. I'm like, man, you seem like you watch the Chiefs every week. So anyway, so we just started to connect over that. And then ultimately, and lo and behold, coincidentally, I'm wearing the KC Chiefs jersey right now, right? So let's tie the two of those together. So at the time, I did not know anything about the KC Chiefs.
Right.
Not really. And we're talking a few years ago almost.
Yeah.
And so, we started talking about that whole thing, how they had a Chiefs there, a football team, a soccer team called the Chiefs. But yet we had this United States football team called the Kansas City Chiefs. And so he just stressed that he just really loved the football team. And I was actually surprised that there would be a South African dude or somebody from the continent that would really be into American football like that, right? And so we just kind of connected over there. And the other times as time went by, as we started speaking about maybe attending the Soweto Derby at some point, we started becoming more into the knowledge of the football teams there, the soccer teams there. Of course, that sparked additional conversation, and he just reiterated that he was really a Kansas City Chiefs fan and how he's always wanted one of those football jerseys.
And they sell them things like hotcakes here. I mean,
any nice. Now they're expensive as hell.
Yeah.
And so I got to thinking. I said, you know what? Muzi good people, like you said. I said, and he told me at one point, he said, he's like, man, especially when I bought this jersey and we would start getting into the soccer thing over there. He's like, man, I would really love to have a Kansas City Chiefs jersey, and he said, man, if you could get me one of those, he said, I'll pay you for it. I'll get you the money for it or whatever. And of course, with us being over here and him being there, logistically, I guess you could cash out things and stuff like that. But and keeping the big picture in mind at the expense of the jerseys over here, I was like, you know what, Muzi good people. I was like, I think we could hook him up with a jersey, and that would be real cool. I think that'd be a nice gift for him. Right. Being as how he's a loyal fan to that whole thing, and I just thought it might be a nice surprise to just tell him like, you know what, bro, chill, I got you, right?
Right.
So I was able to get him not only a Kansas City Chiefs jersey, but the one from the last Super Bowl that they won.
Yeah.
Right? I forget what Super Bowl number it is. Super Bowl 58 or 50, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I was able to get him the actual jersey that they wore when they won their last Super Bowl. And so I had been, sitting on that jersey or holding it down, for some months now.
Yeah.
The last time when we were there, I bought it shortly after we came back, so I was holding it for him. And so I was able to get over there and get my brother his jersey. So he told me that he was gonna. I ain't forgot about it, Moose. You said, and I didn't ask him to do this, but he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna take a picture of my jersey." So I guess I don't know, once the football season starts or whatever, he'll probably put it on. So rock the jersey, Muzi, and hit us with a photo, and maybe I'll share it with the people with your permission.
Right.
So, but that was real cool to be able to do for my brother over there.
Right.
So, but that was pretty much it. I actually did my first Substack from our place over there.
Yeah.
And just to mention that, so one thing that I did recently is to launch a Substack, and the reason that I did that is, and I thought about this before, and I kind of thought about what types of things would I talk about, and the fam out there, they people who really know me kind of knows and understands the type of person I am and the things that I engage in, the different interests that I have, and the different just perspectives I have about anything and everything for the most part. Even though I do keep it low key.
Right.
When I engage on things with people, it can be quite broad. And so I guess to say, I guess I could be considered somewhat of an interesting person. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I decided to launch a Substack channel, right?
Yeah.
And what that is that's something that I see as separate and apart from the Mel and Me thing, and it's just really just me. And you'll get me in front of the camera doing just little short, commentaries or whatever, or sharing like certain interests that I have, different things that I'm into,
Right.
which I mean, even certain things that they might be able to see on the set right here. They might see the set looks a little bit different, and that there are a few additional objects in this set, which speaks to some of my past life and indulgences and things that I still do from time to time, but kind of took a step back from, to kind of support our boy and our daughter, and when she was an undergrad and that type of stuff, but now that we've gotten to that point now where we're basically empty nesters, man, I got a lot more time on my hands. We're doing the thing over there, where we're kind of moving and shaking, and it makes sense for me to stay in tune, no pun intended, with my various interests and those sorts of things, and even share with the world a little bit, so it gives me a chance to pick back up, with my writing and my producing and my playing and all that kind of stuff. So Substack will cover, some of that, some just general stuff that's on my mind, and I may go out in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I do have one that I published thus far, and it was basically reflecting on my trip over back to South Africa at the time, the conversations I had on the plane with people, and just thinking, man, because on those long flights you have a lot of time, just to think, when you're going over the terrain, whether it be in the day or at night, especially. I caught some really good images of flying over the Greek Isles and over North Africa, man. It was crazy the way that you can literally see the trace outline of the continents, from 38,000 feet, and it corresponds to what you see on the maps. It was really wicked. I got some of those. I didn't show you, by the way. I'll show you. So you get a lot of time to reflect. So I did that Substack. So what I'll do is maybe I'll put a link to that Substack channel in the description on this particular video, and maybe flash it across the screen.
Right.
So if those who are interested in maybe seeing different aspects of me personally, aside from just our Mel and Me thing, then that might be something that you're interested in, and follow me and share with others.
Exactly.
So did the Substack there. Got a chance to take care of our little issue that we had with the body corporate at the estate. So we had an issue. The last episode we spoke to an issue that we had with our banking situation, with not being able to pay our bills. No bills for money in South Africa was the last episode that we did.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put a link to that, so if people can go back and check that out. But doing things the way that we're doing it, we have snafus, and we have things that pop up, unexpected things, and I'm always paranoid about, okay, what's going to be a situation where I'm going to have to literally hop on the plane and fly over there and spend all that money.
Because it's extremely difficult when we're here to try to handle issues when they do come up. Then this was a prime.
We have to. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, this one wasn't too bad, but I just think a lot of the back and forth, just with the time zone, trying to call, and all of that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it could be considered bad, because if you think about like what we have here, we have in the United States, we have communities that if you buy a home in a community, it may be a gated community, secure community or whatever, like they have over there, gated and secure, depending upon, of course, in the United States, if it's secured, it's people with a lot of money, rich, wealthy type people living in those scenarios. But you can be in a gated community where you have gated access, but it can be even ungated like ours is, but yet it's governed by what's known as a homeowners association or property owners association, right? And what those are, it's the equivalent of the body corporate there in South Africa, whereas they form these communities, and to be quite honest about it and to keep it real for those who don't know, these entities in the United States were created back in the day, really to control who could live in a certain community.
Exactly.
Right. It really it was a discriminatory vehicle that they established for the most part to keep out black people.
Folks. Yeah.
And as with so many things we find in South Africa, because they had their same system, discriminatory system, that being apartheid, which is the same as our system here of Jim Crow, right? That they set up those same frameworks. It's just, there's so many parallels to what the way things work in South Africa as when compared to the United States. So that's really those body corporate concepts and those schemes, if you will, were put into place, probably my guess is with the same intent to a degree.
Yeah.
And y'all feel free to correct me, South African family, if they transpired the same way over there historically, because I haven't delved into that deep of the research in regards to body corporates. But if it runs, kind of parallel to the way most other things do here in the United States, there's probably a similar type of dynamic there initially, although it may not exist in the same format today. However, certain things about those entities are still in place in light of or in regards to, say, for instance, what we ran into with our citation that we got. So we got this citation, we got this email a while back, and it basically was, I consider it a harassment email, because anytime you get an email or communications from an entity such as the body corporate, who you pay dues to every month, we pay a fee every month to the body corporate, just like we pay a property owners association fee here with the home that we own here,
right?
Which they can get to be pretty expensive. I mean, it's not uncommon to have homeowners association fees depending upon what type of community you live in and what part of the country you live in. You got some property owners association, it's more expensive than the mortgage, or the bond. What would be the equivalent of the bond over there?
It can get into you can pay $1,000, especially if you're on a golf course here. That's when you're really going to pay a whole lot more. You're paying for the amenities.
US, $1,000 that which would be 17,000 rand a month in some upscale communities or condominiums in some of these big cities.
And that's just for the HOA.
Just for the homeowners association.
Exactly. And then obviously, like over there, if you don't pay it.
And that's the other thing. They can take over here and they can put a lien onto your property, which could cause you to lose your property. Basically, they can take your property from you if you fall behind on those fees.
Exactly.
And so I tend to take it personally.
Yes.
If I'm getting a communication from the body corporate or the HOA or the POA harassing me saying you're in violation of this covenant, of this particular rule that we have in place, which is what happened. They sent us a picture.
I mean, but to just even backtrack really quickly before that, they had sent out previous notice prior to basically saying these are the things that you are allowed to have, on your patio area or whatever.
The balconies and stuff like that.
So they've been consistent with sending that out.
Laundry racks.
Yeah, they saying what you can have and what you can't have. So I just want to give that backdrop is to say, everyone was notified months and months ago on what we could and could not have. I just want to put that out there.
No, that's fine. And that's an ongoing problem. I mean, no matter what community you live in, whether it's here, whether it's over there, people are always going to violate the rules.
Exactly.
And when you have a community where you have hundreds of people, thousands of people, homes or residences in that community, somebody's always going to violate the rules. There's going to be a small percentage of people that's going to say, I don't care, or it doesn't apply to me, or some people will just overlook, but they're going to be in violation. And, when they do their monthly inspections, they roam the community, they look and just make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, because they're looking for uniformity, right? Because they want the community to remain pleasant looking and, just not stuff all over the place, people with laundry flying all off the balconies or racks out there that shouldn't be there, or, just different stuff, and so I get it, but at the same time, it's not pleasant when you open an email and you get a message from the management company, the property management company, saying you are in violation of this rule, and they send you a picture, and the picture is not a picture of your residence,
right?
Because that's what it was
not. And I was glad that they did send the picture, versus just saying that you was in violation for this without sending, because we wouldn't have known had they not attached that picture.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, WTF. And so I'm like, all right, now what do we need to do? Because obviously this is not us, and the next thing that comes after warning is a fine. So I'm like, I don't need you hitting us with a fine for something that we did not do. It's not even our property.
And that day was what, 7 days?
7 days. You have 7 days to refute this, or we'll, I'm like, don't come for us, and we won't come for you, right?
Right.
So that was one of those scenarios, and so you really feel helpless when you're on the other side of the ocean and you got a place over there that's under scrutiny saying that, hey, you know, we're hitting your crib for this, you know, now respond or pay us some money because that's what's coming next. And I don't know beyond what happens there. If you don't pay the fine, I'm sure they'll layer on some penalty to that.
Yeah, they
you know, so I don't even want to be caught up in that.
Right.
So that's why we make sure that we keep our fees paid. You know, and if there is some issue, we make sure that things are tight so we don't have to worry about these things, right? And so we sent them an email, and I drafted up an email, sent them up and made my case and say, first of all, this ain't my place.
Right.
This is, I think, this place, right? And second of all, and I just rattled off a list of about 3 or 4 things why there's no way it could be us. And so I asked them nicely, I say, please remove this illegitimate citation. You know, so anyway, and they still didn't follow up. So I followed back up with them, didn't hear back from them. So I say, okay, I was getting close to the time I was going to be over there. So I said, I'm going to go see these folks.
But right? just to jump in real quick, with that, with the 7 days, now had you not been going over there, then it would have been an issue because they wasn't responding back timely. Then it would have been an issue if the 7 days would have passed, because if you weren't going over there to really actually go and see them in person, then we would have been stuck with still trying to call them to try to go ahead and get this resolved. So again, that's just something that, you know, you need to look at. If you have a place over there or you want to get a place over there, those are things that you need to keep in mind.
So I went in and I went into the office and spoke to the property manager. And I said, you know, what's going on? And I basically broke it down. And by the time I really got to the point, she was like, and that was me who did that. I don't know what she was looking to accomplish by saying that. If that was like, yeah, that was me. What you going to do about it? I looked at it, I was like, oh, really? I said, well, that's not our residence. Right. I said, so I wanted to come see someone personally because we need to have this resolved, because I don't feel that it's right for us to be subjected to, you know, that type of whatever. And her attitude was like, well, you know, everybody makes mistakes. She was like, no, well, that's no big deal. She tried to downplay it like we were just playing. I was just kidding. It is a big deal. It is a big deal because if we didn't respond, then they're gonna push it further. Exactly. And so she's like, oh, that's no big deal. I'll just get it removed. And she went into the laptop and she was like, see, they're done now. And I thought about it. I said, okay, that's all good and fine. But I said, I'm still going to go back and check and see, because I know she can remove it from whatever application that she has on that computer. But I also understand kind of how things work technologically over there and processes and stuff. Not quite to the way that things work over here. So I said there's probably some disconnect to where it's not going to translate. And lo and behold, the other day when I went out to the app online and I went into our record, it's still there. Right. So that tells me there's a disconnect between the property management and their online application that they use. So I'm still going to have to send another email or call, and I'll call if necessary and say, yo, this needs to come off, because I don't even want to see it on our record. Right. Because it shouldn't be there. It's not ours. Right. So pain in the you know what type of stuff that you have to deal with there. It's not fun, but that's a reality. So you know, just another one of those things that you have to stay on top of. Yeah, no going in. And you have to make sure that you're keeping up with your communications, your email communications and stuff. That's the key. You have to be diligent with keeping up. You can't forget and let it fall to the wayside, because you can, especially with something like that. It's just important. So that's just something else we wanted to throw out there. Yeah. So, a couple other, highlights of the trip, or lowlights, if you will. But, pretty much got out, did a lot of shopping and stuff. I shared those vlogs. If you haven't seen those vlogs, check them out. Just go into our channel and look at the vlogs from me out there doing things like furniture shopping and what else did I do? Furniture shopping, just some shopping. Yeah. Went to China Mall where I scooped up my bucket hat. Y'all see I got my bucket hat. I rock it a little bit differently. You can do many things with these bucket hats. So I just kind of style it in a couple different ways and just kind of wear it depending upon how I feel. But I was actually going to cancel and come back earlier for a little situation that kind of jumped off on this side. Which, pretty much everything is cool, but I was not able to do that because the travel agency that I booked the trip through had some issue, man. For some reason, they would not allow me, even though I paid for the service to allow me to modify my trip for any reason, no problem. I paid an upcharge for that. But when it came time to implement it, the one time that I paid for that was the one time I needed. So what a coincidence there. It's like, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm psychic or something. It's kind of a scary thing. But and what ended up happening was they kept saying, it's not a problem on our end, it's a problem with Visa and or your bank. Maybe there's some fraud, suspicion or whatever. And so we got on the phone, even though I was plus 6 hours ahead of you. I'm staying up all through the night on the phone with you, and we're working with the bank.
Not on this side.
Bank is like, nah, it's not our problem. The problem is with them. So long story short, it's basically one of those scenarios where you have a travel agency, and we know we have all these travel agencies pop up all over the place that you can buy tickets through, but their systems and everything are not always up to snuff, you know. And they have imperfect systems and not necessarily the most competent people, who may be, stationed or doing customer service somewhere in the world. Yeah. Right. A lot of times you can hear like babies crying in the background when you're on the phone with them. It's like, wait a minute, this customer service rep. It's like, what's that baby crying for?
Everybody working remotely. Yeah.
But dogs barking. You might hear ours.
I've heard that too, because even when I was on the phone with the bank, she said, "Please excuse the dog."
So there you go. So that was a whole entertaining whole thing. But ultimately, they ended up refunding my upcharge that they charged me for that, because the bank, I filed a dispute. I told them, listen, I'm tired of going back and forth with y'all over this over multiple days. There's no need for me to try to even attempt anymore, because I'm going to be leaving in about another day and a half anyway to get back. So it doesn't make any sense for me to pay you any more money. So I'm gonna leave it to my bank to fight with you. Give my money back. I will give my. They were like, the policy says it's non-refundable. I said, yeah, okay. Basically, I sent them an email back and said, yeah, okay. We're gonna turn this over to my bank and let them deal with you, because they have a whole lot more muscle than I do.
Right.
Because if it gets to a point where they decide to not have their customers be able to utilize their card to book your services, you're going to lose a whole lot more money. You're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars potentially.
Exactly.
U.S. So, and then of course they came back a couple days ago saying, "Oh, sir, we're very sorry. We're more than happy to give you a refund."
I mean,
that's what I thought.
It was their fault. It would be different if it was something that we did.
Different. So I just left it at that. But nevertheless, I was not able to end the trip early, so I ended up staying, the full time that I had intended.
Right.
But that's what that was. So we back here, and we just want to talk about it real quick. We'll be back there, and I'm hoping that. So the only other thing that's notable that I kind of ran into, and it's been a couple years since this happened. And I'm not gonna really get into this too much, but it's the one thing that kind of, there are a couple things that don't really sit well with me when I'm there, and probably never will. But again, as I stated in one of the other videos, it's one of those things that we kind of know going in.
Right.
But I guess you just kind of have to get smarter about how to deal with those scenarios. And what I refer to as that, and I'm gonna do this, and I know the South African fan gonna know. You're driving and you see this. Anytime I see that, man, I'm like,
right,
man.
Right.
And then, you're in a line of cars, and you may be the third car back. Because I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know, because at some point, I mean, I'm trying to find the best way to just put this. At some point, you're going to have to speak.
Yeah.
Because they're going to ask you for a driver's license.
Right. The minute you open your mouth.
The minute you open your mouth, it's like...
you might as well just... yeah.
And so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, it taught me another lesson, and that I think I'll carry forward with me. And I can kind of understand, why you can get into a mode of, like, being more conscious of how you move, where you move, those sorts of things. When you're out, like I tell you, like I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, I know. So you know, when we're there, like we go out or whatever, you know, there's only certain places I'm looking to be after a certain time of night.
Yeah.
You know, it's like after dark, and in the wintertime, I guess it gets dark earlier.
I mean, no different here. You know, just certain areas. Every country has it.
But the difference is here, though, it's really not the same game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Certain things you don't have to really worry about. You know, you may deal with a cop with a bad attitude and looking to escalate from that situation, and that's bad in enough of itself. Exactly. But, you know, the way that things are over here, you don't really have that other scenario transpire just because of the accountability. You know, over here, those guys, they get punished real bad for stuff like that when they're caught up in those types of scenarios.
Right.
But, so nevertheless, you know, it's what it was. You know, I ended up getting back to the crib, which is what was most important to me.
Right.
And so I take that lesson as I do the first time it happened, which of course it's been a couple years since it last happened. But you know, you're just being conscious of how you move, and you know, when you're out, you know, and that sort of thing, and you can become more comfortable with spending more time in your areas of comfort, you know, whether it be on the estate or just freaking in certain places or taking you know, certain kind routes, that sort of thing, you know, in a sense. Yeah. So that was the only other kind of like notable thing that I can speak of while there. But other than that, it was a good trip. So I'm looking forward to going back for the big pitch. Of course, they moved it around. They're sponsored by the startup club there. Right. I really would like to get there and get a chance to meet some people and kind of see what's going on in the tech ecosystem there. With them trying to build businesses.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So to have a chance to maybe network there. So looking forward to that. Now, of course, I got to be sure, though, that when we schedule the trip that they don't move it around again. And I don't know what happened, you know, with the event in Cape Town that they had recently, if that had something to do with them pushing out the Johannesburg final event.
I'm just wondering how far in advance would we even know, though? You know, like if they're gonna, you know, make a change.
All we can do is hope.
Yeah.
I mean, they've changed it to a date to November 5th, I think it is now. It was supposed to be October 29th, which I had that time bracketed, and thankfully we hadn't booked our reservations yet. Okay, so that's a week out. But if it turns out that they move it around again, or let's just say they cancel it or something, I don't think they will, because this is a pretty big event. But if it turns out they push it out another week for whatever reason, I have no idea. Then, I mean, once we book, we still got to go.
Right.
We'll just spend time, and it'll just be a missed opportunity for me for that particular type of thing. And I just have to circle back around to another event when we're there, do one of their monthly meetups or something like that. But I just thought something like this particular event will be really good, because there's going to be a lot happening there.
Exactly.
It's going to be a big event. A lot of people are going to be moving and shaking. It's kind of like one of those Shark Tank things. So I'll get a chance to really see some upstart companies that are really doing some things and that show a lot of promise. Because if they're winning $1 million at that final event,
they got something that's you know that's definitely a good potential.
Exactly. So we want to be there for that. So looking back forward to that, and it's not very far away, to be honest. I mean, we're almost in August, so you know, so we're looking forward as always to our times that we're back there.
Yes, and I'll be on the next trip, rolling along.
And we're gonna be coming over with some other people too. Probably a few other people. So man, it just continues. The party just keeps going. Yeah, you know, more people wants to see SA.
Yeah,
you know, they want to check out Johannesburg and stuff, because they hear how it's popping over there.
Yeah,
but so we'll get a chance to show them. You know, of course that'll probably be more the little, you know, she type stuff. We'll be going to Santon and the whole thing there. You know, it's just those particular type of places do lend itself to that type of entertainment. You want to, you know, kind of get fly a little bit and sit down and have some dinner, listen to some live music, chill, you know, that type of thing. Yeah. So just looking forward to that, grown and sexy.
Me too.
You know,
that gave me a few extra months, which I was glad. So like I said, it's good I didn't go this time, so that I can be able to sit for the full ride there without any complications.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll keep on that trend.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, but until then, we just keep doing what we're doing on this side.
Yeah.
Working our way toward those 1,000 subscribers. So again, we invite you to like, share, subscribe, share with somebody or whatever. And we just, hope, the information that we share and when we do come out in front of y'all, that it's worth your time and everything. So we really appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
And until next time, we just gonna keep pushing. And as we like to say, at the end of the day, it's and me. This has been. I said Ben. This has been
the podcast.
Y'all take it easy. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.